Welcome to WAKO Kickboxing Talks, the podcast where we bring you the most exciting and informative discussions in the world of kickboxing. My name is Elijah Everill. I'm from England. I'm a 14 times WAKO World Champion and a 7-time WAKO European Champion.
My name is Angelina. I'm a psychologist, psychotherapist and a kickboxing referee.
My name is Paulina Yardsmith. I'm a 5 times world and 3 times European champion in kickboxing.
My name is Jake Riddell. I am from Dublin in Ireland. I'm a graduate of the recent Game Changer program. Kickboxing has always been such a huge part of my life since starting it as a young boy. I'm really excited about this project and I look forward to speaking to you all. Whether you're a professional or just starting out, our show offers valuable insights and inspiration to take your skills to the next level.
Hosted by the WAKO Game Changers, we will be chatting with experts, athletes and coaches from the world of kickboxing to get their unique perspectives on everything from training tips to mental preparation.
So get ready to join the conversation and explore the exciting world of kickboxing with WAKO Kickboxing Talks.
Hello everybody, my name is Angelina, and after a little bit of a longer summer break, we are back again with WAKO Podcast. Today we're going to talk more about opening your own kickboxing gym and what are the challenges there. I'm going to be interviewing my colleague Elijah Everill since he's an owner of a kickboxing gym. Hi Elijah.
How you doing, Angelina?
Okay, so I'm going to get right into it and ask you the first question, which is, can you tell us a little bit more of what led you to the decision to open a kickboxing gym and what was your kind of vision for it?
Yeah, definitely. Really, I've always wanted to have my own kickboxing school. It was just a matter of when, like choosing the right time to do it. So I remember really from when I just started martial arts and I was loving it so much, I always knew that this was the pathway, that I wanted to make a career out of. So obviously, within our sport, we don't really have like a professional league as such for fighters. So one of the ways, especially with how it works in the UK, and I'm sure it's the same in other countries as well, a great way to make this your job is to also to teach. So from the age of like 14, 15, I was helping as an assistant coach in some of the classes at my kickboxing school. And I found that I really enjoyed that process of obviously being a student myself, but then passing on knowledge to others as well. And you can see them develop and you can see them get better. That was something that I really loved to do. So I've always loved coaching. And what really spurred me on to open my school was COVID, because the COVID situation happened and obviously there was no competitions going on. There was a lot of uncertainty at the time and nobody really knew what was happening. So rather than just, sitting around and waiting for the competitions to happen, during that 2-year period, really, I was planning the opening of my school during that time. So I was, thinking of where we were going to go, what kind of things I would like to implement within my school, what would be a good venue, what kind of equipment would I need, approaching the local councils and the local schools within the area. All of that sort of stuff I was thinking about during that 2-year period. So I was still being like very, very active whilst I wasn't worrying about competitions or fighting myself. So I think in a way, obviously nobody liked the COVID situation, but in a way it sort of forced my hand a little bit, because then after that, all the COVID restrictions were lifted. Me and my business partner Lee, we were ready to open the school pretty much as soon as it had ended. So we were coming out of COVID really strong, and obviously with no physical activities or sports really taking place during that time, a lot of the kids were very eager to try new things and get back to doing sports again like normal. So we found that there was a lot of interest, and it's just grown from strength to strength. It's been just over 2 years since we opened the school, and I really love it. I'm there every day teaching the kids and also the adults as well, and it's a fantastic career and I really enjoy it.
That's amazing. That's a great story. Could you tell us more about the challenges that you faced during the process of opening the gym and running it, and how did you adjust? How did you address them?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, first of all, it was finding the right location. I think that's a really important thing to do. You have to find the right place to do it because first of all, you need to be in a place where you know you're going to be able to attract people in, right? So you don't want to be too far away from like for example, schools and things because the schools are where people are going to hear about it, right? Like we can go me and my business partner, we go into the schools, we teach assemblies and things like that, and that's one of the ways how we can generate the students and get their interest. So being around those areas where there's lots of kids, where there's families, things like that, that's something that's really important, I think. So we chose a place called Wellington because there's about 5 or 6 schools just off the top of my head, I think, in the Wellington area. So that was really good. We knew that there are plenty of schools around. There's going to be lots of kids. We were also in like a high street area, right, which is a little bit different because most kickboxing gyms, especially in the UK, you'd find them on more like industrial estates, right? So it's quite rare to see a gym open up in a high street where there's shops and cafes and bars and things like that. So it's a little bit different, but we wanted to be different in that sense. We wanted to be close to shops. We wanted to be close to cafes. So it's a little bit more convenient for the people that are around. And not only that, we would get some people that would be walking through the town and that would see our business and want to come in and check it out and see what it's all about. So it's very convenient where we are as well. We're right next to a bus station. We're right next to the train station. So for people that are traveling from a little bit further afar as well, like obviously we have some people from my gym that travel from like 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours to come to train with me. And it's very easy for them because they can jump on the train and they're literally like 100 meters from my gym from leaving the train station, so they can just walk across. And so I think that's a really good thing. We've got good transportation. We're in a good place with all the markets and all the shops and everything, so we get a lot of people coming in and a lot of interest from people that are just walking around the town. But so that was the main challenge, was like finding a good place. Then the other challenge that really threw us was the place where we chose to open it used to be an old nightclub, right? So obviously it had not been open for 5 years. The nightclub was closed for 5 years. No one had been inside. It was an absolute state. You couldn't imagine how dirty it was. You know, it was untidy. There was like terrible colored paint on the walls. The floor was terrible. But you have to, in those situations, you have to have a larger vision and try to imagine what you would want it to look like. And it definitely had potential. So that was what we thought. We were like, okay, it's going to take some work, but it definitely has the potential to be something special. And so pretty much as soon as we got the keys, we were in there every day for about 2 weeks, I'd say. And it was from like 8 a.m., 10 p.m. at night, every single day. And we were just working, trying to make the very best of it. And it all came together in the end. So that was a big challenge. And even just the day-to-day challenges of running the school, it's hard, but it's something that I really love to do. So for me, it's not work. It's something that I love. I'd be doing this anyway, so I really love it.
So commitment has to be huge.
Oh yeah, it's a big commitment. Yeah, 100%. And the thing that people forget is, yes, we only operate the gym in class hours. So maybe I'll be there from like 4 p.m. through till about 9 o'clock in the evening. So it's only open for 5 hours a day, but people don't see what goes on behind the scenes and all the planning that goes in, all the, ordering equipment that goes in. There's a lot of things. It's a full-time job. It really is a full-time job, but it is a fantastic job as well. And for me, it also allows me to train also, because first and foremost, I'm a fighter. So I always need to be training. I always need to be competing and staying at the top of my game. So a job like this and opening my school actually improves me because I have a place where I can always go, that I have the keys to. It's my gym. I can bring in the people that I want to bring in. I can buy whatever equipment I want to buy and put it in my gym that's going to improve me as a fighter. And it's worked brilliantly for that. So not only have I got the chance to coach and help others, but I'm actually improving myself at the same time.
That's amazing. Yeah. So location is the number one when opening this kind of a business. And
I think it's like anything, you know, the location is so important. So you have to be in a good area where you know there's going to be families, there's going to be kids, because of course adults are going to be interested. That, you know, I have busy adults classes, but really the main ones that come to the gym are kids. They're the ones that want to learn. So you need to be in a place where there's maybe schools around, or you know that there's a lot. It's a nice family area where you can bring people in, because that's what's going to build the classes. That's what's going to get the word out to people is the kids, really.
Yeah. So trainers are also critical to the quality of classes. How do you select and train your instructors?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially with myself, I definitely need staff members that are reliable and that can coach to a good ability as well, right? So I have two other assistant coaches that work for me. So the one of them is my business partner's son. So my business partner, for those that don't know as well, is Lee Matthews. Lee Matthews was my first instructor. So I've been with him since I was 4 years old. So we've come up all the way through, you know, and now we're at the point where we're running this school together. Lee is more. It's a great team dynamic, because Lee is more doing things behind the scenes, right? He's more of the business side, doing things that aren't necessarily seen as much, but we 100% need that. So I'm the one who's going to be at the gym. I'm the one that's going to be greeting people, teaching the classes, helping people out, and doing that sort of thing. But Lee's doing all the things behind the scenes, you know, with finances and, you know, logistical things. But his son Bradley, he is also a fantastic martial artist. He's really good, and he's becoming a really good instructor as well. So he started being like an assistant coach, but now he's come through the ranks and he's able to really take classes on his own now. He's fantastic, really grown in his confidence. And I mean, his skill set's always been there, but he's so reliable, always on time, always teaches a great class, really good with the kids and how he interacts with them. So, and also my other one is Harvey. Harvey's one of my fighters. So I've known him from really young, and he's the same, always reliable, always on time, really hard worker, and is great with the kids, you know. So I think you can find people like that you can bring in, people that you can trust, that you know are also good martial artists that are capable of holding their own in their own fights and things like that. But Harvey's an active competitor. Bradley doesn't compete as much, but he's a 100% fantastic fighter still. So I think it really, when I'm not there, say for example, if I needed to be at a competition somewhere, or maybe I'm doing a seminar somewhere, you know, I'm very busy. If I can't make something, I know that I can leave the gym in very capable hands and I won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah. What personal qualities do you believe would make a person successful in running a kickboxing gym?
I think you have to have the passion for it and you have to love it. So if you don't have the passion to teach, then it's going to show. And not only that, if you don't look like you're enjoying it or you're passionate about it, then especially kids, they pick up on that energy and they will be the same. They'll be bored, they'll lose interest, and you won't develop a very good student. So I think you have to be passionate about what you do. You have to love what you do, but you also need to be fun. You need to be charismatic. You need to be able to talk to people as well and communicate. And then obviously the basics, like in any job, you need to be reliable. You need to be hardworking. And I think with all those qualities, you know, you could definitely run a successful club.
So what about safety? Safety is a top priority in combat sports. How do you ensure safety of kids training in your gym?
Yeah, well, especially with the younger ones, we don't let them do any type of sparring, let's say, because they come in and the basic program for them is to enjoy themselves and to learn little bits of martial arts, but not necessarily fighting. It's more like drills based around building motor skills. So when they come in, there's not much contact. It's pad work. It's, you know, throwing and catching or punching a ball, kicking a ball, hitting different targets, things that are really enjoyable for them that they like to do. So that's where we sort of start with, so they don't have to worry about contact or anything getting injured. Obviously, in my club as well, we have, it's fully equipped. We have good mats. We have all the equipment that they need to make sure that they're doing things safely. So, and then when they go higher up the ranks, like in the cadets group, who's a little bit older, in their age group, they start sparring. So obviously we have sparring gear and stuff that's on sale at the club. So before they start doing any kind of contact drills or anything, everybody must have equipment. We don't let anybody spar without the appropriate equipment. And that's pretty much it. And it's always myself who's on there and all of the other qualified instructors. And we also have my dad working there, who's the receptionist as well. So he's also watching at all times to make sure everything's running smoothly. So yeah, we've got plenty of people that are there to make sure that the safety thing is nothing to worry about. All the kids and the parents are aware of the rules that in order to start doing any contact or anything like that, they've got to have full sparring gear. And we always do classes starting with a good warm up, stretching. Then we go into the main content of the class and we do a little cool down to finish. So we keep that procedure all the way through to make sure we're not getting anybody injured or, nothing nasty happening. So.
I was going to ask you, what kind of classes are you hosting in your gym? Are you focused on all disciplines or only certain ones?
So so we have our little soldiers group, right? So the way we split them, we call them the little soldiers. So the little soldiers we start them from 4 years old, and they can go up till they're 7, right? So from 4 to 7, it's little soldiers, and it's basically what we just said there. It's building motor skills. So every week they'll do a different skill. One week will be like focus. So all of the drills will be based around focusing. Then maybe next week it'll be teamwork. So they have to work with other people in the group. They need to work as a team. Then they might be doing pad work, or they might be doing like team races or something. The next time might be balance, where they're practicing their kicks and they're staying on one leg. And so we have lots of different skills that they do every week. That's the main content really for the little soldiers. That's what we try and do. So they're learning martial arts, but they're building their motor skills. Then when they get to 7, 8 years old, we move them up to the cadets group. So these kids are a little bit older. Most of them have got good developed motor skills, especially if they've been in the little soldiers group, because some of them come up from there. Some of them start at cadets, and that's fine as well. But that one's a little bit more fitness orientated, so it'd be harder work. We do more fitness testing and things like that. Still doing drills, but then we start to incorporate bits of sparring into it as well. So that's one of my favorite classes to teach, actually, and probably the most busy. And when they're at that age, honestly, they're like sponges. You tell them something and they take in all the information really well, and you can see the improvements of them as they go along. So the cadets class is probably one of the most busy ones we have. And then from the age of 13, we then move them up to the adult session. So teenagers and adults really all train together. And again, that one's really busy. For the most part, we have like a beginner adults class. So in the beginner adults class, that one is more, again, like basic martial arts skills, combinations, pad work linked in with fitness, because that's the main thing that the adults want. The adults want to get fit, right? And then just do something that's going to engage their brain as well. Everyone can go on a treadmill and run for miles, but it's not particularly the most enjoyable. So a lot of them want to come in and they want a good workout, but they still want to be feeling like they're learning a new skill. So we have a lot of beginners that want that kind of class. And then we have our advanced classes. Most of those guys, I'd say 99% of those guys compete. So they'll all be going to the big tournaments and things. And obviously within these classes, we're looking at more tactical drills. We're looking at getting ready for competitions. We're looking at getting lots of sparring rounds in and things like that, really. So we have a really big mix right from the age of 4 up to, 40 years old, where they're all in there, they're training, they're all at different levels, but we have classes that cater for everybody.
I really love the name Little Soldiers.
Yeah, it's got. It used to be Little Ninjas when I was a kid, and then we changed it to Little Soldiers because Lee, my business partner, he's ex-military. He used to be in the parachute regiment. So for him, he's hit the whole sort of essence of our school is we use a lot of the military testing and stuff. Even our style of teaching is a little bit military, but that's why we changed the name to Little Soldiers. But it works really, really well. It works hand in hand, I think, with the military style in with the sport kickboxing style as well.
I can see that you created a positive and inclusive environment and atmosphere at your gym that welcomes kids of all skills and backgrounds.
Yeah, that was the goal. That's what we want to do, and we try to cater for everybody as much as we can. The other thing that we also do is we have our set. It's called the grading syllabus, right? So that's the requirements for what they all have to learn, right? So, for example, when they're a white belt, they have to learn the basics like a jab, a reverse punch, and a front kick, and maybe some basic movement like forward, backward, move to the side, circling around your opponent. That's the dead basics. That's where they start with white belt. And then they'll move up to yellow belt where it'll get a little bit harder and it'll be like, I don't know, back fist, roundhouse kick, axe kick, side kick, all the basics. And as they go through, it gets harder and harder and harder. And we do gradings every 3 months. So that's when they'll go for their next belt and they'll basically be under a test. So we'll have a day of the month where we'll say, okay, this date's going to be our grading. And they'll sign up for their gradings if they want to do it, and then they have the opportunity to show off all of their skills, basically. So we will ask them to do all of these set techniques that they have to do in the requirements for their belt grade. They'll have to show that they can do it well, and then they'll be awarded their next belt. So we do that every 3 months as well, so it keeps them engaged and it gives them a goal of something to achieve. So even if they're not competing, they still see themselves climbing the ladder towards something. That's really important for if you want to try and retain students, because obviously people come and go all the time, right? People start, people leave, people start, people leave. But if they've got something there, that's a goal for them, they want to be a black belt, that's the ultimate goal, then they have a ladder to climb. They can see what they have to do and they can work at it, they can train at it, and then they have the chance to get one step closer each time towards their ultimate goal of being a black belt.
That's a great system.
Yeah, it seems to work really well, and everybody loves it. You can see everybody always like up in their game. That's the thing, every time there's a grading on, even just in the training sessions, everybody's even more focused than they were before because they've got that motivation there to try and prove that they're worthy of it.
Yeah. Okay, so final question. What are your long-term goals for your gym and how do you plan on measuring its success over the years?
Yeah, definitely. So I think long-term goals would be, we want as many students as we can. And my student count at the moment is about 130 members. So I would like to have 200 members. And that's going to be difficult, but I would like to have 200 members. And I would like to have, we're a very new gym. We've had people come from other schools, you see, that have left other schools and come to us. But I would like to have a good set of black belts there as well. And also I would like some more world champions coming out of my gym. So that's the goal. I mean, for those that want to compete, I would love to take a good team over to different competitions in WAKO and have a lot of success over there. But for the ones that don't want to compete, I would love to see us have, a really good level of all-round students that are black belts that have managed to stick it through. So yeah, that they would be my long-term goals, and to develop that successful team, definitely.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you, Elijah, for today's talk and for giving us more vision of how it is to open a kickboxing.
And even now, I'm still learning all the time, so I'm always coming up with new ideas and doing new things. But I definitely, for anyone that's passionate about what they do, kickboxing, martial arts, I was sat on my hands for a long time thinking when's going to be the right time, but sometimes there's not a perfect time. You just have to do it and commit to it, and if you've got a vision there and a dream to do it, then just go for it.
I like that. Okay, speak to you soon, Elijah, on our next episode.
Thanks, Angelina. Look forward to seeing everyone again at the next one.